Hello there, lovely people. It's Alex from Nintendo Life here, and today we're reviewing for you No Man's Sky, specifically on the Nintendo Switch 2. This review was originally written by the lovely PJ O'Reilly and has been adapted for video by me. But anyway, that's more than enough waffling. Let's dive right into things. When was the first time that you played No Man's Sky? For PJ, it was right back at its initial launch in 2016, a launch that, for reasons that have been recounted ad nauseum by now, left everyone feeling a bit miffed. Here was a game that was very obviously a huge task for its small and, as it turns out, phenomenally determined dev team, a game that promised much very excitedly, but ultimately failed to deliver in its earliest form. Fast forward through what's been quite the 9 years since, and we are here with No Man's Sky Nintendo Switch 2 Edition, a beefed up, beautiful and breathtakingly bold space adventure that's got everything Hello Games promised in the first place, plus a hell of a lot more. What's more, this is a free update for existing owners of the Switch version, which is very much appreciated. Yes, we may have got off to a rough start with this infinitely playable survival classic, and we think it can be called a classic by now, but boy oh boy has it grown into something absolutely superb at this point. Prior to this version, PJ and I had last played the game quite a few updates ago, so oh lordy, there's a lot to sink our teeth into here. One of the Switch 2 port's most exciting aspects is that it arrives alongside the latest Beacon update. This adds a bunch of settlement management aspects, a new autophage enemy type, base infestations, building upgrades, new base structures, and more besides. Basically, it's given us the tools to get busy actually affecting, managing, and influencing settlements and their various alien inhabitants, right down to fending off attacks. It's just another great big wrinkle in what's been a procession of notable new wrinkles over the years, with flying and tameable pet pals, vehicles, improved combat, space dogfights, freighters, corrupted planets. The big additions go on and on and on. And during all of this, of course, the underlying game, mechanically, visually, and in terms of accessibility, has gone from strength to strength. Is it perfect? No, it absolutely tries to do way too much all at once, and as a result, you don't really get the best of everything. Combat, as an example, it's fine. It does the job, but it's no match for a proper action-adventure, and those who spend their time in quote-unquote serious space sims may find the system of commerce, space pirating, and all that good stuff maybe just a little bit too simplistic. Suppose that's just what happens when you try and fit an entire universe inside a game. What the game absolutely nails, though, and all of its systems, no matter if they're a little bit flaky, help in this regard, is the atmosphere and vibe of being in space. A great, big, infinite, colourful, wild, and bizarre space where you really can get lost, explore, and exist in your own little loops of interest forever. From the first moments where you'll be walked through its tutorials, God knows how many times we've done this by now, to getting your ship, taking your first flight, finding your first space station, it grows around you until you're consumed, locked in for the long haul. The strange narrative that pushes you forward, should you even choose to follow it, is beguiling, otherworldly, and just odd enough that it keeps us hooked, even when we're occasionally completely overwhelmed by new things. And being overwhelmed can be an issue in the earlier parts of the game, where you unlock a whole lot of tech and have a bunch of mechanics explained to you in fairly short order. It's worth sticking with though, because once you're familiar with scanning and collecting, refining, crafting, and creating, the feeling of adventure here is pretty much unmatched. Certainly on consoles at least, and even more so on consoles that let you play portably. We've been willing for the performance and visuals to be a match for the content on Switch 2, because as much as we enjoy No Man's Sky on Switch 1, we can't lie, it is being held back a little in terms of image clarity and sluggishness in combat. This is an experience that deserves to be played without such barriers, and with the Switch 2 version, we're officially in business, as it's pretty much a match for the previous generation of home consoles, the likes of the PS4 and Xbox One. Yes, it looks that good and runs that smoothly in both docked and handheld, with broadly only small stutters when you're loading or you're on a particularly dense planet. It should be noted though, at the moment, some players appear to be having issues with their cross-save files from other systems due to the fact that the version number isn't, like, immediately a match just yet. No doubt this will be addressed in an update in due course, so whilst it's an annoyance now, it's somewhat understandable given that we're so early into this new console's life. There was also some bother getting into multiplayer over the first few days with the game, and thankfully that seems to have been solved by now, at least when it comes to my own personal testing. The result of this is that Switch gamers are now finally able to access all the various multiplayer goodness that this game offers. The old Switch apparently just couldn't deal with this aspect of the package, but this time around it's all here, and from what we've played recently, it seems to work as it does on any other version of the game. As we alluded to earlier, there's a load of accessibility options here as well. You could get lost in these menus. I don't want to say it's too much, because you can never have too many accessibility options, but lordy-loo, that's a lot. You've got motion aiming, which you've been looking at this whole time, individual Joy-Con sensitivity settings, a load of different button layouts, HUD scaling, color filters, adjustments of tap and hold for actions, and so many more besides. I mean, come on, you can even unlock the frame rate. That's what you've been looking at this entire time. Realistically, it's not going to look as slick as something like an Xbox Series X or a PS5 or something like that, and that is 100% reasonable because this is a portable device, damn it! It's easily nice enough to be acceptable up on the big screen, and in regards to any sort of like upscaling artifacts, it's not immediately obvious. There may be a few little twiddly bits here and there, but it just blends into the background. It's not cranked up too high or anything like that. All in all, visually, it's a bang-up job. This really is No Man's Sky without any constraints, cuts, or concessions. And it is a majestic thing, as you'll likely know full well by now. The Beacon update adds even more depth for those who want it in the base building and management aspects, but at this stage, it really is all gravy. This game has long become a must-play for fans of space survival adventures, and Switch 2 just got itself a bona fide banger of a port. That's really all you need to know. No Man's Sky Nintendo Switch 2 Edition brings this excellent, constantly evolving space survival adventure to your new Nintendo console in fine style. This is an almost perfect match for some of the other versions of the games, barring some hiccups here and there. Combat is still a bit naff, especially in space, and hardcore pirates might not get all they need from all the systems that you can find here, but other than that, this is an almost perfect port of an almighty behemoth of a game. The sky, it seems, really has no limits. No Man's Sky Nintendo Switch 2 Edition, you're getting a 9 out of 10 from us. You've reached the end of the review. That means it's time for Alex's personal thoughts, and broadly, I agree with PJ on basically everything. The only thing that is just, it's... The game runs way better than it ever did on Switch 1. There is no argument there whatsoever. But I'd be lying if I said that it was absolutely, perfect. I did notice, and this is so dependent on what you're doing and what planet you're on, because I've been on planets where there's seemingly a fair bit going on, and the game runs brilliantly. It's super smooth, sometimes, approaching 60 FPS with the unlocked frame rate. Never expect a solid 60 FPS unless you're just in a space station or something, but, And then I'll go to another planet, and it just doesn't hold up nearly as well. And usually this is with more stuff going on screen, but it does seem to be a little bit sort of scattershot in terms of the performance. I think this is, again, because I've got the frame rate unlocked, which means that I'm exposing myself to way more fluctuations, but that's what I want, damn it. I want more frames. When playing handheld, VRR makes up for a lot of this, and it does make the whole experience feel a lot smoother. And docked it's not bad, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying it's bad. There's just a part of me that just wishes it was just a little bit better or more consistent. Again, I could turn on the 30 FPS cap, but I'm just not built that way, baby. Great that it's an option, 100%, and, maybe I'll turn it on at some point if I get a little bit, motion sick or something like that. That's not gonna happen. But it's there, and that's never a bad thing. But to go from the Switch 1 version of this game to the Switch 2, My god, the clarity is so much better. Everything looks super sharp. I believe Digital Foundry reported that it's aiming at 1440p when docked, which I think is very... like, that's a high number. No doubt there's some dynamic resolution going on or something like that, but even so, it looks fantastic. And more importantly, when you mine in the ground, the game doesn't stop. It just does it. That's the biggest upgrade of all.